Great. Again, hi, friends, and hi, folks who are watching us live as we're streaming, as well as folks who are tuning into this potentially, later on or later in the week, or maybe a wander upon this in a couple months. My name is Kim Kushner. I serve as our Assistant Director of New Student and Family Programs through our UMKC Parent and Family Programs, which is in the Office of Student Involvement in our Division of Student Affairs. So lots of little pieces there, but mainly the part of my job today that I'll be focusing on, putting my hat on, if you will, is for the family program section. And I'll be talking more about what our parent and family programs looks like momentarily. This is our second family talk that we are facilitating. And today's guest is Dani, and I'm going to let Dani introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dani Wellemeyer. I work at the UMKC Libraries. I'm our head of outreach and engagement. And I work with a lot of our library outreach programs that are directly connected with student support services like the ones that Kim is in charge of. And I will talk more about the different parts of my role a little bit later. Thanks, Kim.
Great. For folks who are with us live, feel free to go ahead and use the Q&A part if you'd like, if you have any questions along the way. And we will also share some contact information at the end for folks who might be watching this on demand who have some questions or follow-ups. Go ahead, Dani, and we'll roll the slide forward. Or advanced slide. I guess that's more of the the term. Welcome to my Monday. All right, so before we get started, I always like to make sure, even though my role is an assistant director with parent and family programs, we like to broadly define what parent and family means for our university. We understand that every family is a little bit different, and the diversity of what parent and family means to us is really important. So for those of you who may not have watched a presentation that I've facilitated before, we like to define this in every presentation. So parent and family for us includes parents and families, but is not limited to biological parents, step parents, extended family members, adoptive parents, foster parents, legal guardians, and really includes, but is not limited to, anyone who serves as a primary or caring supporter of our UMKC students. We recognize you, and we are so appreciative that you're here and that we can support you in supporting your students. I joked over the summer that I use the word like support 1,000 times in these types of presentations, but we really authentically do mean that. All right, advanced slide. And a little bit about UMKC Parent and Family Programs. Our tagline is stay involved, get connected, support your RU. Welcome to our UMKC family. So if you aren't involved in UMKC Parent and Family Programs, we would love to have you. Or if you're a student who wanders upon this, definitely encourage your parent, family member, or supporter to subscribe to our monthly newsletter. We have resources such as a resource page, some different events and activities that are both virtual as well as large campus traditions like Family Weekend, which happens in the fall. We just recently had a basketball night we co-sponsored with the Alumni Association. We do a really fun Taste of Home and Letters from Home campaign. And we are also starting up a parent and family council and have a few folks who are very active and excited about that. So you can connect with us, and the website is there, or you can really just Google UMKC Parent and Family Programs, and we are the first ones that show up there. So that's a little bit about us. And again, my role is to serve as an advocate and support for our parents' families and their students in whatever way possible. So, one of those ways possible is through introducing fantastic people and fantastic campus resources, like Dani and her libraries team. So, we are going to get started today with basically just a little bit of a Q&A session where I'm going to ask Dani some questions, and she is going to share out the wealth of information because feel like our UMKC libraries, yes, we have these physical spaces and places. And I think sometimes I think they're a little bit of the hidden gem on campus in some ways, where there's just everybody's favorite hidden study spot is like, such and such floor right over in this corner of the library. Or, oh my goodness, every day, like students tell me about the computer lab that they use, which saved them. The stories of the library and the resources of the libraries are so robust. And I feel like our students don't always know really all the resources and people that are there to help them. So my role today is just to facilitate a conversation with Dani so you all can nudge a little bit and say, all right, student, all right, daughter, son, etc., get over to that library and utilize their resources. So Dani, feel free. Our first question that I'm going to ask you is tell me more about yourself and your role.
Okay, thanks, Kim. Um, First of all, main library, third floor, north facing window. That's my spot. That is the window that overlooks the north side of campus, and you can see over to the plaza, and then in the distance down to the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art, and then downtown Kansas City. So I guess it's not really a secret anymore, but that's my secret spot where I like to hole up. Okay, so my name's Dani. I'm a librarian at UMKC. I work at our main library, but I am just one of about 70 or 80 people who work in the UMKC libraries across all of our locations and departments. And we are basically all on the support team for UMKC students and staff and faculty. So that is kind of the main aspect of my job, is structuring my work around finding ways to support students in their academic success. So I work on our research desk. So I answer research and assignment and campus related questions as they come in. I work at our physical desk, but I also answer those questions by email and phone and chat. I started out in the libraries on our teaching and instruction team. So teaching introductory research classes for students, and those classes are integrated into the other courses that they're taking. And then the outreach and engagement part of my job means that I focus on our different programs in the library, where we work with different student support offices and programs like Kim's. So with the parent and family programs, with our transfer student networks, with our first generation RUSE program, and a bunch of different academic and also like social support systems that we have for our students here on campus. And I also work on projects with when we do engagement with our different like student groups and student organizations on campus. So my job is really focused on our student population, but I kind of get to do a little bit of everything, which is what I like about it. What's your next question for me, Kim?
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm going to need to check out the hidden library space that secrets out. But I'll grab a
I'll show you.
coffee downstairs, or maybe some sushi or something, and then like hide in the corner there to do my dissertation. All right. So tell me more about the UMKC libraries and just in general, or feel free to go more specific, how they support our students, our UMKC students, and even feel free to expand on how parents and families, how they also support them.
Okay, so the UMKC libraries are actually a constellation of libraries. We tend to talk about them in terms of physical spaces, but especially in the last couple of years, but even before that, we've been working on making sure that our library collections and resources and services are available to any UMKC student, no matter where they are doing their work and their study from. So pretty much anything you need to do using our library's research collections or working with a librarian or a staff member getting assistance, you can do it all online. And that became super, super important when the campus shut down for COVID. And I'm really glad to say that we were prepared for that, because the libraries have recognized for a long time that we have online and distance students. Also at UMKC, a lot of our student population are not necessarily living on or close to campus, because we have a lot of non-residential students and a lot of non-traditional students who have jobs and families and other kinds of responsibilities. But I work at our main library. We also have a health sciences library that's located on the health sciences district campus. So for all of our students in all the health sciences disciplines, nursing, dentistry, medicine, pharmacy, and I think there's 5, but I always forget what the last one is. I think it might be called nursing and health studies, actually. there is a specialized library with specialized resources and expert librarians who focus on those types of research. We also have a law library that's located in our UMKC School of Law. We have a music media library, which is located within our main library building, but it serves the conservatory and all of the disciplines that are in the conservatory. And then we also, one thing that makes us a really special academic library is that we have special collections and archives. So UMKC libraries are home to the Labuddy Special Collections and the Marr Sound Archives. And those are the parts of the libraries that are kind of like a museum. So we collect rare books and manuscripts. We also collect documents and artifacts and photographs that help to document the history of the Kansas City area and the region. And then the Marr Sound Archives also has a world-renowned collection of rare and unique sound recordings. It specializes in the history of recorded sound in the Western United States, but it's vast and amazing. And so another cool part of my job is getting to introduce students to that component of the library. A lot of our students are taking classes where they have to do research, where they look at primary sources, right? Where they look at original documents or newspaper articles or sound recordings. And we have those right here in the UMKC libraries, both physically, and we're working on digitizing as much as we can to, again, give access to anybody, anywhere, anytime, wherever they're doing their work. So that's like a super high level overview of the different kind of like parts of the library. But I just want to highlight a few different ways that the libraries support students in their work. Whoa, I meant to go this way. There we go. Okay, so it is really important to us the libraries are a safe place for UMKC students to study. And by safe place, I mean that we are a safe place to ask questions. We're a safe place to find somebody and get some direction if you're not really sure what your next step should be on campus or with your research or with your courses. We're also a safe place to just be people and students. So we know that not everybody needs to use the library for research all the time. Sometimes the library needs to be a place where you can come in between classes, where you can get coffee, where you can get some food, where you can take a nap, honestly, and where you can meet with your classmates. We have a lot of group study rooms that are super highly utilized because students need to meet with their classmates either for group projects or just studying together. And we also know that, again, with a lot of our students who don't necessarily live on campus, the libraries can be that place where they can go in between their classes and lunch and study groups and not have to just hang out in their cars. I was a commuter student when I was an undergrad. I went to Wichita State University and I kind of lived out of my car, which I think a lot of students can identify with, but I did also spend a lot of time in the library as kind of an in-between zone. We also take safety and security really seriously. We are an urban campus, so we're in Kansas City. And so the library is one of the latest places that is open where students can study past like 10 p.m. We're open until midnight. And we did a lighting study recently to make sure that getting to and from the libraries to where students are parking their cars is as safe as it can possibly be. And we also have a lot of like safety policies and procedures in place to make sure that this is the safest place it can be for students who need to study late at night, because we know that that's often what their schedule is. Another thing,
Dani, I'm going to stop you real fast. I just
yes.
realized that as I'm learning how to do Facebook Live,
Mm-hmm.
we are now live.
Great.
So we were
Sounds good.
not live for a little bit of this, but
Okay.
to reiterate for folks who might just be finding us, because welcome to not understanding how to use technology. That is my fault. We are doing our family talk featuring our university libraries today. And Dani is talking about library support for our students. And we are recording this as well. So we'll have this live version for people to wander upon, but also have the recorded section that we'll also upload to our parent and family Facebook group and add to YouTube. So apologies, Dani, you keep going.
No worries. This is what life at the library is like. You never know what's going to happen any minute of the day. Okay, so another thing I wanted to highlight is that the libraries at UMKC are for every student. In fact, we serve students, staff, and faculty, and the Kansas City community. So the libraries are open to the public, and our book collections and our library assistants are also available to anyone, and that includes all of you as parents, families, and supporters of our UMKC students. So the libraries are a safe place to study. They're a safe place to be a person who might need to get a snack or a nap. And they are also open no matter what your major or your degree is. If students are decided or undecided on their major, if they live on or off campus, everything in the libraries is free to every student at every level, undergraduate, graduate. They don't have to pay for anything. It doesn't depend on what major they're in. If they can use that technology or access that lab, the libraries are for everyone. And another really important way that the libraries support success of students is by providing academic support for students who are working on research or class assignments or research projects, their essays and papers, their theses and dissertations. And we try to provide that support in a way that is the best fit for a student, no matter what they're working on. I accidentally hid my notes page behind my other thing. Cool. All right, hold on a second.
No worries. For folks who are just tuning into the live stream, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty and we are now on and going and rocking it. So Dani, we're just continuing the fun here, friends. This is what happens sometimes when you explore new technology. So we are chatting with Dani today, who serves as our head of outreach and engagements, talked a little bit about parent family programs, and we're back in the game.
Yep. Okay, so Kim, I would like to know what your next question is for me.
Awesome. So far we've talked a little bit about yourself and your role and some details about the UMKC libraries and how they support UMKC students. What do you believe is one essential resource the UMKC libraries offer that you'd want families to know about? Like the one thing, our
Okay.
students have sometimes attention spans that, if we're going on and on about all the things, but what might be that one thing that's a great takeaway?
Okay, so I think that it's kind of a representative example, but the most important thing for students to know about is our chat with a librarian service that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there is a little chat with us button on my screen right now. And this is what it looks like when you're on the library website. There's a button in the corner, it says chat with us. And this is available literally 24/7, 365 for anybody visiting our website, honestly, but for UMKC students to chat with a librarian and get help with whatever they're working on exactly when they need help with it. So at the libraries, we dedicate a lot of resources to providing one-on-one individualized research assistance and academic coaching in any format, anytime that it fits with the schedules of our students. So we can assist students with their research questions over our instant message, our chat service. We can also do it over the phone, by email. We also set up video calls with students who prefer to do an online meeting and also in person at our libraries. So we know that at UMKC, a lot of students will first encounter the libraries because they have a library instruction session embedded into the curriculum of one or more of their classes. This is a really good way to learn how to use the library because the librarian will tailor their assignment, their instruction to a real concrete assignment that the students are working on. And the librarian will teach them step-by-step how to use the library's research tools. But we know that not every student is going to have that in their classes. And so we want to make sure we have a really strong program in our library for helping students with their questions and their research by just dropping into the library by appointment, by phone, email, or chat, any way that it works for them, anytime that it works for them, so that we don't make any assumptions about what students do or don't know about the library or what access they have or haven't had to the library. So that's my essential resource is our 24/7 chat, which is just kind of like the the most fun part to talk about of all the different ways we make sure we're helping students anytime, anywhere.
I have to say that I have personally used that chat, and 24/7 is like an understatement because like sometimes you might put a chat with us and a customer service website for like, trying to buy something or whatever,
Yeah,
and it takes a minute, but no, these folks are like on it and help with lots of things, or really, really, really are so student centered and kind when you have even the silliest of questions, can really be amazing. So I love that chat with us button as somebody who has used it before. Bravo, library. Appreciate you, Dani, you and your team with that literally 4:30 a.m., maybe working on something, or, during
yeah.
regular business hours, regardless, the care and concern and support is always there. Excellent, excellent. Um,
And it's real people. During the day, it's me sometimes. I love that part of my job. Honestly, I do. And then at night, it's still a real librarian, just not me. Really quickly, I want to show you some photos of the libraries because everybody wants to see what those spaces look like. This is our main library. This is a picture I just took of us in the snow a couple of weeks ago. You're looking at uh, the main part of the library. Is 5 stories tall, has 5 floors of study space, computer labs, books, staff spaces. And then also on the end, the thing that looks like a cube, that's our robotic storage unit, which is a whole other story about how we have a high density robotic storage unit so that we could devote more of the spaces in our libraries to stuff like this, and move the books into the robotic storage unit. So this is on our first floor. This is one of the many, many spots with computers and printers and technology. Our first floor is really fun to hang out on because it is set up for group study, and there aren't any like noise restrictions. So this is where most people meet up with their friends, meet their groups to study, hang out. And then some of our other spaces look a little bit more like this. So this is a spot that instead of computers, it's more like little study pods. If you look closely, you can see somebody taking a little nap on the black chair in the middle. Very common occurrence in the library. I mean, it might be the best place to nap on campus. It really is. But anyway, yeah, so there are like a variety of different parts of the library that can meet different study and research needs. And it makes us happy when it's as full of students as possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. What's kind of cool about the spaces as well is that student organizations and sometimes campus events also happen in some of the library spaces. So it's not just, as Dani had mentioned earlier, this safe space and this kind of home for students. It's really a robust place where there's art installations. I know we've used it for Ruse Give Back, for instance, and just some different spaces that folks can use for programming, and also for that late night assignment or for early morning needs, or to take that nap. I feel like that is you just need a quiet place to have a moment sometimes. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Excellent. What other types of, what other types of things should we know? Or if families have additional
Mhm.
questions or concerns, how can they contact
Yeah.
you and your team?
Okay, so keep clicking away from my slides, so I have to move back. So this is a slide for our personal librarian program. And if you want to tell your UMKC student anything, you can tell them to sign up to get a personal librarian. So this is a new thing that we're doing. And it is basically any UMKC student can sign up to be assigned to a personal librarian. Their librarian will just contact them a few times a semester they'll just reach out, offer some library tips and information, offer to answer their questions. And students can ignore it if it's not a part of the semester where they need any library research resources or where they don't need any help. But if they do need somebody to talk to in the library, their librarian is going to be right there in their email inbox. So you can tell your student to sign up for personal librarian. You can also just be the person that tells your student to use the library. So as librarians, sometimes we get really caught up in explaining to students, how they should use the library and why they should use it and how it's going to improve their GPA to do deep library research for their papers. But we have to remember that the very first step with any new college student is that somebody has to tell them that the library is there for them, that it's theirs to use and that they should use it. And so the first person to tell me about college libraries was my mom. I was actually in high school doing a research project and she drove me to the university in our town to do research there. But it's really, really common for parents, family members, aunties and uncles, other student supporters to be the person that tells their student they should use the library. So that's it. And then I'll just leave you with my contact information. If you have any questions, you can email me at my UMKC email address. You can give me a call. And I'd be delighted to talk to parents and family members. But also, you can just ask any librarian anything you need to know about UMKC. All of our Ask a Librarian services, emailing us, calling us, using that chat that's built into our website, that's there for everybody, everybody in the UMKC community and the UMKC family.
I love that. So say a family member has a student that's like, oh my gosh, it's finals or it's, exam time and I need to write a paper, and how do I even get started on this? Like,
Mhm.
how do I even, what is basically, what is the website, and like, how
Yeah.
do we even kind of get them to the right place?
Okay.
Um,
So I always tell students to just Google UMKC Library because nobody remembers URLs anymore, right? But it's library.umkc.edu. And this is the portal to all of the information that they're going to need. So the library website, I'll just show it really quickly.
yeah, we got some time.
Yeah, we have a little time. New window. Oh, I have to probably stop my share and start a new one. Yep.
All good.
Screen. There we go. Okay, so library.umkc.edu. This is the spot where anybody who needs to access the library's collections of books and ebooks, where they can search for academic articles, where they can get to all of our research resources. Kim, are you seeing my
Yes.
web
Yep.
screen? Okay, great. Just checking.
Oh yeah, no, you're doing great.
Yeah, so our website is the portal for pretty much everything. This is also where they can find the chat with us button. So this lets you pop open a chat window where you can talk to a librarian, a real life person, never a robot. And then we also have a meet with a librarian page, which is if a student has a big project they're working on, this is what I always tell them to do. I tell them to schedule a research consultation. This is just a one-on-one meeting. It starts at 30 minutes, but it can go as long as it needs to. And the librarian will get ready for the appointment to make sure that they can quickly and efficiently point the student to the best ways to research the particular topic they're doing for their paper, their research assignment, whatever they're working on. And these can be in person or on Zoom. So when a student is like, I don't really know how to get started with this topic, one thing librarians are super good at is what we call topic development. So say you have to write a paper for your English 225 class, and you know that it has to be connected to writing. If a student isn't quite sure what's going to make a good topic and how to turn that into like a thesis statement and something that is that they can turn into an essay, that's an excellent place that librarians could give advice. So yeah, schedule a research consultation. I wish it had a friendlier sounding name, but one thing you can totally tell your students is that the librarians are friendly, because we know that there's a phenomenon called library anxiety. This has been studied, and it just means that people, especially college students who are newer to the university, might be a little bit hesitant to walk up to the service desk in the library and talk to a person, or to contact us for a research consultation. It's just one of those things where people feel a little bit anxious about making that first step. And so we try to make it as easy as possible. But yeah, make a research consultation appointment, or sign up to get a personal librarian, and then they'll reach out to you. You don't even have to do the work.
Yes, that personal librarian program is extraordinary and awesome. And we're really trying to reach out to students who, again, anywhere on the spectrum there of like honors program, super duper, like maybe a student who's like knows exactly what they want to study, how they want to study, some folks anywhere in between who, are just figuring things out or have a prompt from a professor and are like, okay, I need to get this done in whatever time frame. Again, I think to the hidden gem, even though the building is right there and prominent and the buildings are on campus, sometimes just setting foot into those spaces and letting students know that there are friendly faces and people there dedicated to helping them in whatever way possible. I love even at the beginning of the year, our library staff do welcome tables and are at different admissions events and different things, just really trying to tour folks around and show, like you said, that the space is friendly, both physically and also that the people there are there to help. Thank you so much, Danny. I know we didn't go
Yeah.
over the
Oh,
website
you're
part,
great.
but I was like, you know
No
what? Let's
problem.
just show them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we are again going live. So if anybody has any questions, I'm looking at our Facebook chat as well as our participant chat. Feel free. Otherwise, we can go to that last slide, or really, we probably don't even need to. I can just kind of share.
Oh,
Danny and I like kind of practiced and then also had some technology issues. So we're just kind of rolling with it. Um, we don't worry about sharing it. It's okay.
oh,
Um,
but I was on top of my technology game and was ready to share it
Oh,
again.
there we
Go.
go. There we go. Well, Danny shared again our her email address and librarian email address, and I'll put those in the Facebook comments when we have the entire video uploaded. Because again, came in a little bit later. No big deal. But again, the reason why we have these family talk sessions, we started with our financial wellness one in January, are working with Dani on this library one. We have a career services one in early April. I believe it's around April 6th-ish, and that'll be a lunchtime. And we are planning to continue these into the summer and open it up to our new roosts who are coming in, as well as our returning families. So some involvement related, multicultural student affairs, fraternity and sorority affairs, campus rec. Dani, if you want to come back and do a second round, we really hope to, again, partner together because we recognize that our parents, families, and supporters really matter in your UMKC students' experience. We recognize that your involvement helps your students be their best. And you are powerful referral agents. We like to nudge the nudgers, if you will, and remind you all that even just a text like saw a library presentation today, you should check it out, can mean a lot, especially during this time of the year. I was just talking to a student earlier, and it's March and things are getting real for our students in the spring. And it's a little snowy out. They might be a little hesitant to drive or walk outside the residence hall or leave their apartment in the comfortableness, but they need to get out there and use our library systems, or at least use the online website and all those resources. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are here to support you in supporting your students. My role as an advocate for our parents and families and supporters, and really all of our roles on campus are here to help set you up and set your family up for success. So hopefully then, and 2, 4, 6 years, couple semesters, depending on again wherever your student may be, we will be celebrating with you when they cross our graduation stage. Dani, anything else before we wrap up today?
I think that's all I've got. Kim, you're a really good interviewer. And I
Oh,
also I also know that you are a student yourself and use the library all the time. And so uh, just the back and forth with you with all the highlights that you also love about the library, I feel like made this really wonderful to listen to. Hopefully it was fun to talk. So yeah, thanks.
yes. Yeah, I'm a nerd and love the library. Have always loved it, but also feel the anxiety because it was as a full-time professional and then a doctoral student, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to use this quite correctly, if you will. So it's been a little bit of a fun learning curve, and I love talking about the library. And this seemed like a really awesome time of the semester for our families to learn about a resource that I love so much, and you, because I love working with you as well. Um, yeah, I do not see any comments or questions. Um, and we will go ahead now and then end this live video on Facebook, and then we'll end our recording here. So let me end it. Thank you, everyone, for your time today, ending it on Facebook. And and then we are, I believe I did everything correctly here, hopefully. And I'm going to end the recording